for many nights she'd fled without rest, pausing only to change horses or to feed and tend the baby. None of this mattered. She called upon the being inside her, using the supernatural strength it offered to drive herself on, harder and harder, faster and faster. If she could only get across these mountains, she'd be free. The Venators wouldn't follow her there. They wouldn't spread their numbers so thin now, not with the war having come to its head.
"Princess Alicia!"
The witch flinched, her breath catching in her throat. She should not turn. She should plunge onward, push herself to the very limit of her shade's powers. But at the sound of her name, she whirled and saw a figure appear suddenly between two trees, a figure whose face was hidden beneath a low red hood. To the witch's shadow sight, the color of that hood seemed to blaze like fire in the darkness. The figure lifted its arm, and a trace of stray moonlight through the trees flashed on the metal fastenings of a wrist bow and the sharp tip of a poisoned dart. The witch saw this all in a blink and dodged to one side. Not fast enough. The dart bit into her thigh, just a small prick of pain, but she knew what it meant. She'd seen the effects of the poison now coursing through her system. With a roar, the witch hurled herself, not away in flight, but straight for the figure, who struggled to reload. The fury of her inner shade blazed in her veins like fire, and even as she tucked the baby tight against her, she reached out with her free hand, caught the Venator by the throat, and with a single twist of extraordinary strength, broke his neck. He fell like a straw doll to the ground at her feet, and she stepped back, watching with satisfaction as his spirit and his shades struggled free of their mortal confines. But she could not linger over this kill. The lonely howl of a wolf filled the forest, wild and vicious, eager for blood. She cared nothing for that. Wolves were no threat to one such as her, but her shade-heightened senses discerned the pounding of boots in the forest. At least 2 more shade hunters were on her trail. Now that their poison flowed through her veins, she would not be able to outrun them. She staggered on, feeling the slow paralysis taking over. It would overcome her completely in a matter of minutes, possibly sooner, leaving her alive, awake, but utterly unable to fight. Then they would find her and deal her their gentle death, driving her soul and her shade on to eternal damnation. And once that was done, they would burn her baby alive. Her vision blurred. Her shade already succumbed to the poison, and she herself would follow soon. "No, no, no," she whispered desperately, wishing she dared to pray, wishing she dared hope the goddess would hear the plea of a witch. But she was cursed, forsaken, a creature born of blasphemy. The goddess offered no mercy to her kind. Even as her vision doubled, she saw a hollow tree loom before her, one good windstorm from falling over in ultimate ruin. She forced herself on toward it, feeling her arms slacken, fearing she would drop the baby. "They don't know I have her," she told herself, her words slurring. "They don't know she's here. I won't let them find her." She fell against the tree. A jagged opening at the swollen base of the trunk gaped like a monster's ravenous mouth. The witch dropped to her knees before it. Throwing back her cloak, she paused and gazed for the last time into that small face. The baby was quiet, but awake.